My name is Nuru Luhindi, founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Little Innovator School. Little Innovator School is based in Athi River, Gimu Phase 1. We started out in 2014, January, and basically at Little Innovator School, our vision is to nurture innovators and entrepreneurs through STEM and emerging technologies. So why STEM and why emerging technologies? We have several reports from international organizations like World Economic Forum, Future of Jobs report. They release a report every year, 2018, 2019, even up to 2022. We have reports like McKinsey. We have reports like Institute for the Future, where they're all giving the same message, that careers are changing and really fast. In fact, they're telling us that by 2030, 85% of careers existing then are yet to be invented. So I asked myself a question as a school director: how am I preparing the learners in my school to be ready for these new careers by 2030? Because if you're talking about 85% of careers, really, we are saying 9 out of 10 careers, because you can't have 8.5 careers. So 9 out of 10 careers will be new, they don't exist. So in 2018 at the school, we started training robotics, started training coding first of all. Then gradually in 2019, we progressed to robotics. And ever since, we have been progressing to more and more technologies. So the idea here is, these international organizations are telling us that the new emerging careers will be created using emerging technologies. And what are emerging technologies? The world is currently going through the 4th industrial revolution. The 4th industrial revolution is mainly catalyzed by emerging technologies, which means artificial intelligence, robotics, blockchain technology, 3D printing, mobile app development, gaming, and so on. These will be responsible in creating new jobs that have never existed and we have never heard of. So what we are doing at the school is to train children to first be curious and identify problems in their community. Once they have identified the problem in their community, they relate it to one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Kenya, as a member of the United Nations, ascribes to the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and we instill in our learners, right from preschool all the way to grade 6, we instill in them the knowledge of the emerging technologies so that they are able to have global thinking. We always tell our learners that even at their age, they are global leaders. They are global leaders because a global leader is one who is able to identify a problem in the community and then mobilize their environment to solve that particular problem. So for example, at the school, we have done a number of projects related to climate action. Climate action has been our theme for almost 3 years now. And for instance, this term that has just been concluded, we did a project on smart irrigation system. So the smart irrigation system is based on SDG 13, which is climate action. And as we all know, Kenya and other African countries have been facing drought for quite some time. And this is because of our actions mainly as human beings. We have not handled the environment so responsibly, and because of that, we are feeling the effects of climate change. We are sensitizing our children to be able to look at ways of preserving the environment, ways of having healthy and sustainable practices for the environment, so that we are not depleting resources unnecessarily from the environment, and we are not unnecessarily polluting our environment. The UN SDGs, the 17 of them, they are geared towards ensuring a safe and better planet for generations to come. We would like, when the next generation of people come, say 100 years from now, they find a planet that is safe for them, a planet that is conducive for their lives. And through teaching our children about climate action and coming up with robotics projects like smart irrigation system, smart trash sorting system, or smart bins, we are sensitizing our children that in their young age, they can take action to address the issue of climate change. But we are not just doing this for ourselves at Little Innovator School. We realize how overwhelming this entire task is. And the fact is, majority of African or Kenyan children are not able to afford training in emerging technologies. So we are trying to reach out to partners out there who can come and combine forces with us so that we reach out to as many children as possible in primary, public primary schools or private schools in informal settlements, basically children who would never have otherwise afforded to do training in emerging technologies. We are reaching out to these organizations to come and partner with us so that we are able to facilitate these children to get training in emerging technologies and solve problems in their community. So in doing this, we are partnering with Tech Kids Africa, which is a technology academy. And through that, we have partnered with several schools and we are training their learners to identify problems in their community and solve them using emerging technologies. Today was a special day for us because we hosted Careers Beyond 2030 event at Semastea in Karen. And this Careers Beyond 2030 event was an idea by BNI, which is Business Network International. We are a group of business professionals and entrepreneurs who focus on adding value to schools. So we are known as the BNI Learning Institutions Power Team. So as a power team, we put our efforts together and we ensure quality assurance in whatever services we are giving to schools, whether public or private. So at the Careers Beyond 2030 event, we were targeting stakeholders in education, particularly school directors. We invited school directors to come for a brainstorming session where they were discussing pertinent issues as far as Careers Beyond 2030 are concerned. One of the key issues they were discussing was, are they preparing children for emerging careers beyond 2030? Number two, what challenges are they facing in preparing children for those careers? Number three, what wins or achievements have they made while preparing children for those careers? And number four, what support do they need? What are the gaps in their systems? What is the capacity building they are lacking in ensuring effective preparation of learners for careers beyond 2030? So it was a good brainstorming session where school directors and education experts got to share ideas on how this can be done. And it was an agreement in consensus that there needs to be partnership, public-private partnership, for this dream to be realized, for every Kenyan child, for every African child to get access to emerging technologies, for all teachers to have the right capacity to prepare learners for careers beyond 2030. It's a journey that has to be achieved by public-private partnership, and we are reaching out to various schools in conjunction with our partners, Tech Kids Africa, where we are reaching out to schools and building capacity of teachers in the schools and also building capacity of the learners so that they are able to look at the problems in their local community and come up with solutions to those problems by applying emerging technologies. So we had, today was a special day because we had an event at Semastea in Karen known as Careers Beyond 2030. So Careers Beyond 2030, it brought together school directors and education experts who met and brainstormed on a number of issues. We had 4 main topics. In the brainstorming session, the first question was, are they preparing learners for careers beyond 2030? The second question was, if they are, What are the challenges they are facing in preparing learners for careers beyond 2030? The third question was, have they made any achievements? What are their wins in this journey as they are preparing learners for careers beyond 2030? And the fourth was, what are their asks? What challenges are they facing? And maybe what capacity are they lacking? And what support do they need to close those gaps that exist? And that is why now, during the Careers Beyond 2030 event, we had so many different kinds of education suppliers who are adding value to schools. For example, we had Tech Kids Africa, who are partners of Little Innovator School, who are training teachers and students on emerging technologies and tech innovations. We also had Computer for Schools Kenya and their We Center that does e-waste recycling. And they also do training for youth and capacity building. And they also go further on outreach programs with a DigiTrack. So the DigiTrack is like a moving computer lab where they go to various remote parts of the country, Samburu, Machakos, and so on, training children who would have otherwise never had access to a computer lab. We also had Zocom Limited, who give PPEs to various institutions, including schools, personal protective equipment and wear for workers. We also had Dima Driving School, who basically offer driving school services for those who finished Form 4, and various other stakeholders. We had those who offer audiovisual services, like the ProPac Limited. We had those who offer bulk SMS, because schools send a lot of SMS to parents. So with CrossGate Solutions, they're able to avail easy bulk SMS services at an affordable rate to schools and helping them to cut down on costs. We also had Educare International, which offers linkage to universities abroad, and their services are free of charge. They, from the time they advise the student on the appropriate university on the course they want to do, to the time the student actually boards a plane to go abroad, and they follow through the student all the way up to the very end of their course. So we basically had various stakeholders, and of course, not to mention Little Innovator School was also there as a school that partners with other institutions and schools to prepare learners for careers beyond 2030 by training them in emerging technologies. So the learnings from careers beyond 2030 was that the way forward is private-public partnerships. The way forward is collaborations. The way forward is we already have the tools that we need. We just need to have the courage to move forward. We have so many tablets lying locked up in school cabinets, in public school cabinets, under the pretext of teachers do not know how to use them. However, it's just a matter of getting the courage to try it out, because when somebody acquires a smartphone, they're able to navigate it without anybody teaching them. So teachers in schools, public schools, can simply experiment with these tablets and they'll be good to go. In fact, their learners would actually be able to show them how to navigate these tablets, because somehow this young generation of children, they are very tech savvy by nature, even without somebody teaching them the skills. So basically, we intend, God willing, inshallah, that Careers Beyond 2030 is going to be an annual event, and it will be two-pronged. There will be the event that targets students, which will happen immediately after the KCSE results are out. And it will basically be to provide career guidance clinics to these youth, because as part of the discussions today, in the panel, we had 5 high-profile ladies who came to host, who came as guest speakers. We had Madam Jane Mwangi, who is the head of secretariat at Kenya Association of International Schools. We had Joanne Muoti, who is the director at Computer for Schools Kenya. We had Dr. Rukia Atikia, who is the deputy director at Kenya School of Government. We had Faith Nkatha Gitonga, who is the country manager, Cellulant. And we had our guest speaker, the guest of honor, Madam Mudeu Kasanga, who is the Vice Chancellor of Lukenya University and founder and director of Lukenya Group of Schools. So these ladies, they all had one message, that public-private partnerships is key. We need to take the courage to take action, and the answers lie within ourselves. There needs to be an attitude change. And if we take a proactive attitude and put it upon ourselves to learn, and put it upon ourselves to take responsibility for the problems with us, without waiting necessarily for government to come and solve the problems for us, then we have the answers to ourselves. If we as school directors, if we as institutional directors can take initiative and own our problems and be innovative about solving those problems, we don't have to incur huge costs. Let's just improvise with whatever we have and come up with innovations to solve the problems that we have. So basically, at Little Innovator School, we are calling out for like-minded partners out there who believe that Africa can be a tech hub by 2030. We are calling out to them to come and we join hands so that we are able to transform Kenyan and African children to be able to solve problems in their community through the application of emerging technologies. Furthermore, we believe that children are global leaders. And if only they are sensitized to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and Kenya is a signatory and ascribes to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as we train our children, we will be sensitizing them on the UN SDGs that are pertinent to the problems that they are solving. For example, today we had Little Innovator School showcasing a project that was done by our delivery partners, Take Kids Africa. So they trained our children and they came up with a smart irrigation system. They also came up with a smart bin. They also came up with a smart trash sorting system. This is because the school had a theme of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 13, SDG 13, on climate action. Kenya has been facing drought. Actually, by November 2022, Kenya had lost 2.4 million heads of livestock due to drought. Kenya alone. And this is a huge disaster. And if we are able to employ technologies like smart irrigation system, we will be able to ensure that areas that are usually drought-stricken, we can be able to harvest water in water-rich areas, store it, and have it availed to drought-stricken areas. So it's just a matter of enabling these children. Sometimes we limit children too much. We tend to think, oh, they're just a child. But guess what? When you stretch a child, they are very malleable. They are very adaptive. They are very courageous. And one thing about children is they do not have the fear of failure like we do as adults. For them, if they lose, there are no stakes. So they are quick to experiment, they are quick to adapt, and they are quick to move forward, and they are quick to learn new things. So let us support children to be able to uplift the living standards, not just in Kenya, but in Africa, by coming together and ensuring that every single child in every single Kenyan household gets access to 21st century skills, in particular to emerging technology skills, so that they're not only able to solve problems in the community using emerging technologies, but also uplift the living standards of their society. And if every African child did this, then automatically Kenyan living standards will go up, Africa living standards will go up, we'll have a better world, a stronger economy, and everybody will be happy. So we welcome you to Little Innovator School at the River, Gimu Phase 1. Come and see what it is that we are doing. Let us see where we can partner, and let us change the world. I would like to sincerely thank all those who attended the Careers Beyond 2030 event. Apart from the guest speakers I mentioned, we had Nawiri School that graced the event. We had all our exhibitors who came over, and we had some high school students coming over for the event too. We thank you all. for us to make this dream of nurturing innovators and entrepreneurs in the future of work through emerging technologies a reality. Let us join hands and let us change the world, because change starts with you and me.